welcome to Historiespanarna, History Reconnaissance. This time we bring you the second and final part of Marinship Corporation, California at War, 1942-1945. This is a great documentary, so if you haven't seen part 1, there's a link in the description box. And please, like, share and subscribe, it means a lot to us.
As one tanker is launched, another is born. Keel for the new ship is swung into place by a giant crane. Then, like streams meeting to form a wide river, the steel from many shops joins on the ways. 24 hours later, see the transformation. All in one day, trained crews have landed 1,600 tons on the keel blocks. Another pipeline to Tokyo is on its way. Largest of all ship sections is this 115-ton engine room, foundation for the heart of the ship. Only at Marinship was the great 10,000 horsepower propulsion motor lifted in one piece onto the hull. Taken from the 26-tired truck on which it was assembled, the motor is swung into the air by two cranes. An iron-nerved rigger climbs onto the 20-ton lifting rig to transfer the load from one crane to another. Then down to earth he rides on the hook he has freed. Carried to the stern of the ship, the motor is carefully lowered onto its foundation, and then aligned so that its shaft will meet the propeller with mathematical precision. Meanwhile, suspended from a special tower, the tail shaft of the ship is prepared for coupling to the motor at one end and for fitting into the 17-ton propeller at the other. In this pre-fitting operation, machinists must test and retest for perfect alignment, while the shiny brass glistens in the Marin sunshine. As tall as a 3-story building is the big midship deckhouse, already largely outfitted on the skids. Most dramatic moment occurs when two yellow cranes unite to lift the entire upper part of a midship deckhouse weighing 62 tons. The upper part is lifted away so that the lower section, with which it has been built, may be uncovered and later moved first onto the ship. Now the powerful all-electric cranes return to pick up the 80-ton lower section. High in the air, the section is rolled smoothly to a point near the way for which it is destined. Lying temporarily on the ground in front of the way is the upper section, waiting its turn to go onto the ship. From his cab, the crane operator gets a lofty view of operations. There, in front of the selected way, the great weight must be transferred in midair. Through use of a double coupling device, the load is shifted from the two transverse cranes to those that travel along each side of the way. Now the hook swings free. Lifted even higher, the section moves along far above the ship in staging until it reaches the proper point amidship. There it will be lowered gently onto the waiting hull. The great weight of these sections requires the use of 12 parts of rope to support each hook and headlock. This job completed, the never-idle cranes have already gone back for the upper section, and now it too takes the same skyborne route. Through this method, employed on scores of large assemblies, Marinship ingenuity and daring made possible the world record of only 33 days for construction of a tanker. Finally, the ship stands more than 80% complete, ready for launching. And on her bow is painted one of the unique emblems which has become an exclusive marine ship tradition. About the bow of the graceful tanker stand hundreds of shipbuilders and their friends. The flag of the United States is raised to mark the start of the christening ceremonies. The blessing of God is invoked to protect the ship through war and peace. A singer raises his voice in song, and then the gracious sponsor bespeaks the excitement and joy in everyone's heart. Now all is ready. In another moment, the ship will leap free and start down the way. In the deep shadows beneath the bow of the ship, the burners' torches begin to cut the links of steel that hold the ship to the way. Soon it is burn 6, burn 7, burn 8. Then, there she goes. Champagne spray bathes the cool steel. The crowd tenses with excitement. Viewed from the bow of the ship by men who ride with the tanker on her maiden voyage, the shipyard and the way appear to retreat in the distance. Smoothly and without a sound, the new ship glides into the welcoming waters of San Francisco Bay. Each sponsor is presented with a lapel watch, a gift of the company. Meanwhile, the still uncompleted tanker is taken in tow by tugs and guided to the docks, where workers wait to spring aboard and continue the outfitting work. Nestled against the side of the Marinship dock, we get the first full look at the 523-foot ship with her graceful modern lines. Little wonder Marinship has been called America's most beautiful shipyard. Here in scenic splendor, each ship was completed for delivery to the Maritime Commission. In this warehouse, Marin County's largest building, Marinship stored $10 million worth of ship supplies, such as immense switchboards and tiny boiler water tubes, hundreds of pulleys and wire rope for ship's rigging and gear, blowers for ship's comfort, and the electric switches to control them. All-wave radio receivers for outside communication and voice tubes for ship use. Never-ending thousands of pipe accessories, angles, tees, and valves, stacked in orderly rows far back into the shadows of the 2 million cubic foot warehouse. To furnish the ship, glassware, refrigerators, blankets, towels, pots and pans, and everything to make a floating city at sea. For maintenance and emergency, the ship was supplied with firefighting tools, medical equipment, hammers, saws, and shovels, all moving in and out of the warehouse in pace with the accelerated ship production program. Marinship, a yard on wheels, with interlacing streets teeming with traffic, from bicycles to mobile cranes. Fire trucks of special design man day and night. Tiny cars called jeeps in many models, dashing to fulfill important errands. Special trucks carrying mobile welding equipment or oil for lubrication. Ambulances ready for instant use. All heisters distinctively painted for safety. And granddaddy of them all, the big custom-built truck capable of carrying 120 tons. Workers rush about the docks, completing the ship's details, as the 16-wheel, 20-ton cranes lift huge volumes of equipment and supplies on board. On the ship, outfitting experts are busy at their ship-a-week rate, all living spaces insulated by 2 inches of fiberglass. This was one reason seamen report that Marinship tankers are unusually comfortable at sea. Then, using a Marinship invention, one of 5,000 contributed by workers through the Labor Management Committee, a girl welds the fiberglass bats in place. Such time-saving devices as this have boosted Marinship to its position as America's #1 idea factory. In the galley, where the feet of many cooks will tread, a tile setter lays his squares of clay in a bed of 2-inch mortar. These pipes carry steam throughout the ship. Preformed magnesia insulation is cut, then held in place by tiny wires. Wound with cloth, then painted, the lagging work is completed. This and every other outfitting operation was crowded into 1 week or less, and then repeated on the next tanker. One of the biggest jobs has been the electrical work. Well, these Marinship tankers are all electric. 15 miles of cable, from generators to lights in passageways and to switch boxes and relays throughout the ship. Other heavily shielded cables carry the radar messages to the gun. Next, the walls and ceiling are covered over with metal sheathing. Concealed within them are a complex of insulation, pipe, and cables. Metal furniture loaded into skips and lifted by crane onto the deck of the tanker, and then workers carry each piece into the quarters for installation. After the foundation has been screwed on, this filing cabinet will be bolted to the floor of the first engineer's quarters. Now the ship is structurally complete. 350,000 different pieces of steel, all welded into a single, one-piece tanker. Deft painters apply the final coat in readiness for many months at sea. In the galley, gleaming Monel metal tables, chromium soup kettles, and the large electric stove invite the culinary best from the ship's cooks. In coming months, the ship's officers are to eat many a fine meal at these tables and enjoy many a steaming cup of hot coffee when the sea blows cold. Comfortable living quarters for the captain are located just below the pilot house and radio room, so that he can be in touch with ship's operations at all times. In the adjoining room is the captain's office, with conference table, safe, cabinet, and desk. The source of all ship's energy are the 2 big boilers. A sweating workman applies the torch to the atomized oil, and the roar of life fills the boiler room. Superheated steam at 815 degrees rushes toward the main turbine at the exceptional pressure of 600 pounds per square inch. And then the Bailey board and other automatic controls take over. Here's a ship which virtually operates herself. Through these insulated pipes, the steam is carried from the boilers to the main turboelectric generator. Here, the blasting steam surges through 11 fan-like turbine wheels, which are mounted on the same shaft as a 7,500 kilowatt generator. This spins at 3,600 revolutions per minute, driving electrical current through the switches, gauges, and automatic controls which comprise the main switchboard. Electrically driven, the 10,000 horsepower motor turns the propeller at 103 revolutions per minute. Far back in the ship, directly over the rudder, is the steering engine. Workmen come aboard at the docks to test the 2 hydraulic rams. First to port, and then to starboard, the rudder is swung. As the rudder moves from side to side, the propeller takes its first grip of the sea. Here is power and to spare. These tankers also became fighting ships of the United States fleet. At the bow were 2 3-inch guns. At the stern were many anti-aircraft and the big 5-inch cannon, which could hold her own with many warships. Shrouded in canvas were the nests of anti-aircraft amidships. Final ship to pass through these operations was the mission San Francisco. Flag-draped cranes form an archway for the 93rd and last Marinship vessel, while 5,000 workers and their families join in celebration. A Navy blimp adds its congratulations to Marinship for a job well done. Then down the ways for the last time, as clouds of confetti and streamers tell the festive story of pride and joy. Here is the last proud member of a distinguished fleet, built at Marinship. Just a few days earlier, Marinship's contribution to victory was undeniably proven when the U.S. surrender fleet sailed into Sagami Bay off Tokyo. With that great armada were 8 Marinship Navy oilers, half of the ships of that class built at Marinship, and leading them was the Tamalpais, flagship of the Marinship fleet. On the morning of the trial run, dawn breaks cool and clear across San Francisco Bay. Already aboard the ship are members of the trial crew who have raised steam and are now prepared to subject the ship to every peril of the deep. In the wheelhouse, all navigating controls, such as this gyro compass repeater, have been made ready for their test. At every post throughout the ship, a seaman of the trial crew stands ready to do the job which another seaman of the permanent crew will handle when the ship finally sails away. Now the trial captain steps to the ship's phone. Down in the engine room, the trial engineer receives the message, "Take her out into the channel." He steps to the throttle and presses it forward, watching the gauges as they record the first motion. Smoothly, the tanker glides away from the dock. Now, for the first time, she is a living thing, filled with spirit and ready for the sea. Out in the channel, anchor is dropped as a test. To make certain that the ship meets the high standards of the American Merchant Marine, a launch comes alongside, bringing the trial board of the Maritime Commission. Now the launch skims away, leaving the tanker alone. 2 of the most powerful winches on the ship are used to lift the 2 6-ton anchors and the 15-ton anchor chains. From the bottom of the bay, the anchor returns to be met by a cleansing stream of water. Now the captain telephones his orders from the bridge. The ship is ready for the first time to use her entire power. The trial engineer pulls the throttle all the way forward, and the strength of 10,000 horses smoothly surges through the ship. Now it's full speed ahead, and as the ship climbs toward 20 knots and more, the trial crew smile at their posts. Under the clear blue sky, the pilot takes the wheel on the weather deck as the ship speeds about the bay. Meanwhile, engineers and observers are preparing their reports on the ship's performance. On the yard arm, traditional flags of the sea give a message to passing ships. In the chart room, sea-wise hands plot a course through the Golden Gate onto the wide Pacific. Officers confirm their plan with the aid of a navigating compass. Suddenly, the pilot swings the rudder hard to port. The vessel groans and trembles at the shock. like a veteran, the ship swings about, leaving proof on the sea of another test well met. Now the pilot suddenly wheels to starboard. The rudder turns, and with it the ship, tracing a great arc. Out under the Golden Gate Bridge, the tanker heads for the horizon, passing the pilot boat, which always lies anchored alongside the channel, while far out ahead lie the rocky Farallon Islands. Overhead, a Navy blimp on patrol looks the tanker over, then drops down for a closer view. Nearly 50 miles offshore, huge swells begin to buffet the ship. She dips and rises, adjusting her great form to the ocean's unruly surface. Mile upon mile, she keeps the pace. This is the grueling endurance run, taking the final measure of seaworthiness. The test completed with flying colors, the ship turns homeward. With a fresh notch cut in its side, a broom is raised to the mast, proving that this Marinship tanker has swept the seas. When the broom reaches the top, an uninvited visitor spreads wings in tribute to success. To join the celebration, the battleship Missouri and a carrier appear on the scene. Back through the Golden Gate, the tanker drifts placidly past the Sausalito waterfront to the place of her birth. Wherever she may go in coming years, on all the 7 seas, only the Shipyard with a mission will ever be her home. Every Navy oiler comes the commissioning, when friends come to see the captain take over command. The sponsor of the Marinship flagship Tamalpais presents a redwood plaque for remembrance. In his quarters, the captain confers with the chief engineer. Already the ship is loaded, and on the cargo deck are airplanes to use the fuel carried in tanks beneath. All for which we have worked is in readiness. Tomorrow we sail. Loaded to capacity with gasoline for war, the Marinship tanker heads out through the Golden Gate. Destination unknown. One day this tanker is destined to return, to sail out again with the cargoes of peace. Ship's officers peer into the horizon, while back at Marinship, trained hands and minds continue to play their part, building more tankers, oilers, barges, and secret-type craft, and then repairing the ships which made up the Marinship pipelines to Tokyo. Here is a picture for remembering. The sea, the ship, the sky, and the flag, composing a Marinship memory that will live forever in the hearts and minds of all those who know the unforgettable phrase, "Well done."
That's all, folks. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.